where the earth remembers. The morning sun cracked through the raffia blinds of Baba Ajoni's hut, painting golden streaks across his weathered face. He had already been awake for hours, listening to the familiar sounds of roosters crowing, goats bleating, and the soft hush of dew brushing against his cocoa leaves. At 68, his bones no longer obeyed him the way they used to, but his spirit remained rooted, like the oldest Iroko tree in the corner of his farm. The land was his inheritance, not just in paper, but in blood and memory. His father, Boba Odidran, had cleared this patch with nothing but a machete and stubborn hope. His mother had birthed 4 children in the clay house that still stood, crooked but proud, near the Kosovo Rose. Every corner of the earth held a story. Here, a palm kernel had fallen and sprouted after the funeral of his sister. There, a mango tree grew where his wife once spilled palm oil during their first planting season together. But now, beyond the horizon, cranes screamed and steel skeletons rose into the sky like defiant giants. The city was marching westward, relentless and deaf to history. What was once farmland now shimmered with billboard promises. Lekki Heights Estate, where luxury meets nature. They were digging up his neighbors' farms, swallowing land with concrete and greed. And now, they had come for his. The first sign had been subtle, a young man in polished shoes with a folder tucked under his arm. "Good morning, Baba," he had said in clipped Yoruba, betraying his Lagos schooling. "I work with Sunscape Properties. We'd like to make you an offer for your land." Very generous. Baba Ajoni had smiled politely, the way his ancestors taught him to handle snakes. "This land is not for sale. But Baba, think about your family, your children. You could move to the city. You'd live in comfort." "I am already in comfort," he said, pointing to the soil. "My roof leaks, yes. But the sky still listens to me." That was 3 months ago. Now, a red X was painted on his barn. Half of his cocoa trees had been felled under cover of night. The village chief, once a fierce protector of community values, now wore expensive lace and traveled with police escorts. His sons, Tond and Adeji, both civil servants in Abuja, called and urged him to let go. "Papa, it's not worth the stress. You can live with us." But it was his granddaughter, Morankeji, who arrived at the farm one Harmattan morning with a stack of books and a laptop. "I read about your case," she said. "I think we can fight this. You want to use grammar to chase bulldozers?" He asked, half joking. "Not grammar, Papa. The law. And the media." Together, they gathered what they could, the brittle land deeds from colonial times, the oral history passed down through Oriki, and photos of family harvests spanning 5 decades. Morankeji interviewed elders and took videos of Baba Ajoni praying beside the kola tree he had planted when his wife died. She started a social media campaign, #OurLandOurLegacy, and soon, young people across Nigeria were sharing his story. But resistance came at a cost. One night, thugs broke into the farm and set fire to a shed. They left a note, "Old man, die quietly." Morankeji wept, but Baba Ajoni did not flinch. "They think fire will erase memory. They do not know our earth is stubborn." The court cases dragged on. The judges were slow, the developers quicker. Baba Ajoni's health began to fail. His cough deepened. He walked with a stoop that bowed lower each week. Still, he refused to leave the land. When he died, the whole village gathered, those who remembered the old ways and those newly awakened to their importance. He was buried beneath the kola tree, wrapped in the cloth his wife had woven decades before. Months later, the court ruled in favor of partial protection. A portion of the land was lost, but the remaining plot was declared a cultural heritage site, the first of its kind in that region. Morankeji established the Ajoni Trust, a foundation protecting ancestral lands and educating rural communities about their rights. She returned every season to tend the remaining cocoa trees. And each time she sat under the kola tree, she could hear the wind whispering stories of yams, of songs, of one man who refused to forget. The city would grow, towers would rise, but beneath it all, the earth would remember,